And this is the NFL Bell Week 1 with your hosts, Wiz Does and Lou Betya. Lou, how do you feel being back? First episode, a lot of success last year, and we both knew we were bringing this shit back. How are you feeling?
I had to look at the countdown because I didn't want to curse in the first 30 seconds of the video, but I am effing pumped, man. No offense to doing MMA every week, but these cards have been sucking. I'm ready for NFL. I'm ready for bets. College is a nice tease, but as soon as I hear 7 hours of commercial-free football, it's time. So I'm ready. I got a lot of good plays for the people. I got a 7-leg teaser to give out at some point. Tons of props, tons of bets. We got Gordo looking for CFL. The Argonauts.
The ball shot, dude.
The ball shot, dude. Yammers. I wish there's a
Gordo. Shut your mouth, Gordo. This
do we have
a rookie jersey? Okay.
Do we have a yam bag equivalent in NFL? Is there like a bag equivalent?
I feel like it's not like a bag equivalent, but we do bet on the last drive or last touchdown to be scored by the defense at like a huge plus money number. A lot. Yeah. I've noticed last season. I feel like that's almost the same, but I don't know.
I've been watching all these like NFL and NCAA clips on YouTube, like just kind of whatever comes up. And a lot of it's like craziest endings or dumbest shit. And I totally forgot about this one. I think it was from 2 years ago. It's the Florida LSU game in the fog, and it was 34-34. Florida gets a stop on third down with like a minute and a half left. And the dude throws the guy's shoe 20 yards downfield. And he gets an unsportsmanlike refs even like throwing his shoe 20 yards. So LSU got the first down. They kicked the field goal, like a 57-yarder. And then, like, who throws the shoe? I mean, who throws the shoe?
I mean, whatever that guy did is probably better than what Clemson put up on Monday. So that was a stinker. What was their quarterback's name? Klubnik? That guy.
Not winning the Heisman.
Oh, yeah. He's definitely out of the contention now.
At least, like, in our group chat, at least, like, you know, like, did you have a bet on it? I know, like, Clint and Dumpy did, and Evan. At least you knew the bet loss. Like, by the second quarter, you were dead. It was over. Like, you were done, and you knew it. You're going to watch the rest of the game, but you knew you were dead. And it never got better. Clemson it's like they had it, and they lost it. So congratulations, Florida State, for winning the ACC this year, because I don't know how they don't win the ACC at this point.
Who played Sunday night? I'm trying to remember.
Oh, FSU just murdered.
Oh, yeah. FSU
like
and LSU.
Murdered them.
LSU gets to the freaking goal line.
I like that we have Jared here. I think the Cardinals might be like the second game I have like on the presentation here. So he won't have to wait long, is my point. But I'm ready. Let's go, son.
This and obviously the talk of the town this week is Jahmyr Gibbs props. For some odd reason, I mean, we kind of know.
No relation to Barry Gibbs, by the way, of the Bee Gees. No relation. Not son of Bee Gees.
I'm too young for that, Lou.
That's all right. I'm old as shit. We got prop too. All right, let's go. Let's go. I did art, bitches.
Football. Thursday night football.
By the way, obviously everybody's record is 0-0 right now, but this will be
where would we be without you?
Well, but I'm just trying to give you guys what it's going to look like going forward. So we have records, you know, our best bets, maybe records in each team. You know, we'll see.
We got a little bit of action.
We'll see what kind of art I can do. But
Detroit Lions at Kansas City. Kansas City is 4.5 point favorites. Yeah, obviously the line opened at 6.5, but Travis Kelce got ruled out due to an injury, and he's not playing tomorrow. So line has come down quite a bit. Lou, kick us off.
So I'm going to lay off the side here. And like the whole reason is I don't like the public influx of money. Detroit plus 6.5 sounded good. But look, man, this is the first time they're really going to be in prime time in quite a bit. It's not a Thanksgiving. I mean, Thanksgiving is not a prime time game, but like a prime spot for a national audience. This is a big show me spot for them. It's still Kansas City. It's still Mahomes. He's still the best player on the field. What's interesting to me is that this line, these lines, I'm sure you guys know this that are bet at football. These lines have been out for weeks. So they've had chances to adjust. Chris Jones has been out, like unsigned for weeks. I don't think that was ever really baked into the line. The Kelsey one is very clearly baked into the new line. But I think Chris Jones is another point or two that should be considered here. So I'm leery of the side, and I'm very leery of the total because it seems easy. So I have a couple of props here. So Jared asked about our boy Jamar Gibbs here. Dude, I have so many notes.
The star of the show, Jim. The star.
Like, I'm going to start giving UFC tips out because I just have all my notes all over the place. So I know a lot of people are on this one, but I do like the receiving prop. It's 20 on my book is 28.5, 27.5 some places. Look, we didn't see it a lot in the preseason, but we saw it at Bama. The dude's dynamic out of the back. We saw how they called plays with Swift. He's going to be a big part of the offense. This is why they got David Montgomery too, so that they can have him spell. Montgomery's a decent receiver, but he's not there for that. He's there to pound the ball while Gibbs just causes chaos in the back. So I like the 28.5. Interested in adding a Monty longest rush. Well, Jones is going to be out. Let me look up I'll look it up while Wiz goes. I'll look up what the longest one is, but I do like the Montgomery touchdown. He's going to be the goal line back. It's minus 120. I can't say I'm crazy about the price, but this is about the price it was when he was with the Bears. So that's with a better team against, the reason that I like Gibbs, it's not just that we haven't really seen it in the preseason, like I mentioned, but one thing that I think is important here is that Kansas City was like third worst team in the league last year in giving up receptions to running back. So I think teams know how to attack them, but it's going to open up lanes for Montgomery as well. So I like him to score. My favorite two props are not correlated, but the same guy. And that's Jarrett McKinnon, over 25.5 receiving and a touchdown. And I want to bring this up. So he was last year, and this is with Kelsey on the field. He still had he had a 13% target share, which is pretty good for that team. They tend to spread it out a lot. Like Kelsey will get the lion's share and everybody else gets like one or two catches. That's why everybody's miserable, like Kadarius Toney. And Pacheco didn't play the whole year. Like he had to, earn the position. So I took that into account. Well, Pacheco and Hilaire combined had 579 snaps. McKinnon had 535 because he blocks. He's on the field more than any player except for Kelsey. As far as these TD and these reception props goes, I don't count the last game of the year against the Raiders. That was kind of a throwaway game. They're positioning for the playoffs. The 4 games before that, against Denver, 6 catches for 52 yards, 2 scores. Against Seattle, 3 catches. He got targeted 7 times, but 3 catches, 31 yards, 1 touchdown. Houston, 8 catches, 70 yards, 1 touchdown. Denver again before that, 9 catches, 112 yards, 2 touchdowns. The point being, in a game like this where Kelsey's going to be out, who do you trust on that team? His target share is only going to go up from 13%. But who do you trust? I mean, I see people hitting the Sky Moore props. Is he going to throw to Sky Moore 10 times? Are they going to call the same play? No, he's going to have some luck, sure. Like Blake Bell. No, I'm just kidding. But Scantling's not that great. And, look, he's going to have Hutchinson in his face for a lot of this too. So quick release, quick valve, especially if he's the blocking back. He's going to get into space. He's going to get these little open screens. I think he could do it on 3 catches. I love the touchdown look. And if Pacheco is not 100%, I mean, he is coming off surgery. I think you see McKinnon get a lot more carries than usual too. So he's going to have a lot of chances to get the touchdown. Dude, this prop is plus 170 on my book. It's bonkers. They're still listing Kelsey. So that could possibly be why they're doing it, but I would hop on the plus 170 right now, and I will look up for Jared while you go what Montgomery's longest rush is here.
Yeah, like you, I don't feel strongly about either side when it comes to spread. I mean, I can say that if you got early numbers on the money line for Detroit, sure, around that plus 220, plus 230 range, because, I mean, at this point with no Kelsey, It's going to be tough to see what KC does offensively here. But for me, like when I'm looking at props in this game, first and foremost, the Chiefs have not done anything to improve their pass defense. So, and we remember last year how bad they were in the passing department when it comes to the defensive stats. I think Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to have another great game, continuing his like hot run from last season. And I think there's over 74.5 is probably a prop that I'm going to be playing. This guy gets anywhere from 10 to 15, 16 targets per game. And it's just hard for me imagining anyone on that Chiefs, whether it's any of the corners or the safeties, covering Amon-Ra St. Brown, because this guy is faster than all of them on the pitch. So over 74.5 is what DraftKings has him right now. I do like that quite a bit. Jerick McKinnon over 26.5 receiving has also been on my mind just because of the Isaiah Pacheco coming back from injury news. Other than that, in this game, I'm not really too big on. I mean, I've seen quite a few people talk about the overs, and yeah, I can see a world where this game does end over 52.5 points, but I'm probably not going to be touching that, especially with Kelsey out. If Kelsey was in, then it would have probably changed my mind just a little bit. But I just can't trust the total for the overside. So I'm staying off there. I'm just looking at those couple of props. But like I said, not my most fun game on the slate.
Yeah, Jared's bringing up something like about the Montgomery thing. Like the one thing I guess we need to wait and see is we don't really know what the share of like snaps is going to be with
Yeah.
Montgomery and Gibbs. We don't know how much they're going to be on the field at the same time, which I think is interesting too. So it's a lot like that's why I like targeting low numbers. Like I think the Montgomery one's great. I think he's going to get a lot of carries in the red zone too. So I think if we're going to see two back sets, that's probably where it is. But we will move on unless you got anything else there.
One last thing. Everyone talking about Jahmyr Gibbs with the receiving props. I can see it, especially given the way that they're talking about using this guy as a slot receiver or just a downfield route runner. If they are staying true to what they're saying and it's not just smoking the grass, then yeah, he probably hits the over 29.5 to over 32.5, depending on what book you get him at a pretty decent clip. So I'm gonna wait and see if I can probably get a better live number.
All right. By the way, they just announced October 7th main event for fighting is, and I'm not making this up, it's Grant Dawson versus Bobby Green. This is a main event on a fight card, Wiz, in 2023. You and I have to make content for this, for a main event like that.
Yeah, we have to be drunk. We have to be drunk doing it.
I might start now.
There's no better way.
All right, we got Arizona and Washington. Washington -7, -109. They're bought up from 5.5. The total is shit. It's 38. Bought down for 41.5. It's been bet down. Washington 3.5 first half. The total is just so bad. It's your turn to start on this one. Yeah. Oh, and both are 0-0 right now. Just I want to stress they're both 0-0 at the moment. Tied for first.
Yeah, I mean, both teams probably at the end of the season would have wished that they stayed at 500 as they are right now, but someone has to lose. And Cardinals, obviously, no Kyler Murray, and the Washington quarterback situation is not any better.
They didn't even announce who it is yet.
Yeah, so it's just a complete mystery, and I didn't really know how to cap this game. I'm kind of surprised how Washington is laying 7 points. I mean, sure, defensively they're going to be the much better team, but offensively they both just stink. Arizona losing DeAndre Hopkins. I mean, are they just going to feed Connor 30,000 times this game, or like what's the game script here? For me, I'm passing on everything in this game. It's really disgusting, and I just don't know how anyone can lay 7 points with Washington or even be comfortable taking 7 points with Arizona here, not even knowing what the quarterback situation is. So I'm completely passing on this one. There are much better games on the slate.
Yeah, I'm just determined to give out one bet for everything today at the very least. I just want to mention that Clayton Tune fucking sucks. Yes. He sucked at Houston. Like, he sucks now. Josh, like, I don't think I've ever seen a team tank before week 1 where I would imagine cutting Colt McCoy and this becomes major controversy. Like, oh my God, we cut our best guy. It's Colt McCoy. Seriously? Like, Dobbs is awful. Like, and Clayton Tune is like, he's barely, I know Gordo's here. He's barely a CFL guy. So look, I got to give a bet away on each game. I don't know if I'm going to get there, but Arizona's team total under 15.5. I just don't see where they're going to score 15.5 points. I think on the Washington side, you're going to get a lot of long drives. I'm not huge on Sam Howell. He was good in college, but what I do like is that they started calling a lot more running plays for him his senior year or his last year there. He's pretty fast. He doesn't run recklessly. He kind of runs like Danny Jones. Like, they'll design some plays, but like it's not his first instinct, but he doesn't dick around in the pocket. Like, if he knows he doesn't have anything, he knows he's not good enough to like see off 5 guys. He just goes. So I like that. I think you're going to get a heavy dose of running. Their skill position guys aren't bad, but again, it's his first game. It's at home. I just think every drive Washington has to sustain is going to be like a 7-minute drive that ends in a field goal. And I just struggle to see how Arizona is going to move the chains at all. Washington's biggest weakness will be the secondary here. I don't know how the Cardinals exploit it. So the team total under 15.5, it feels safe, but I mean, again, way better games in the slate than this. I mean, the 7 is just like, it's fucking weird. It's gross. It's gross. It's ugly. Let's
Yeah, it's like, oh, you remember last year how we used to target these teasers a lot? How do you even tease this? Like, are you really gonna tease Washington?
Well, if anything, right. Like, I mean, if anything, I'd tease the total, but I don't really like doing that for games like this. But all right, there's better games. Jared's saying he likes Robinson here. I mean, he's probably gonna get 20-some touches. So
Yeah.
I don't hate it. Like, I'm still waiting for props on a lot of these games. I think they'll be out tomorrow. I'm just gonna, you know what? I'm just gonna check real quick. See. Yeah, I have touchdown props, but I don't have yardage stuff for any of the games past tomorrow. Should be out tomorrow. But oh, and Fight Talk's going to this game. That's man, somebody did you buy the tickets?
Or were you given to you?
Yeah, if
were
somebody
you
gave
forced
it
to go? That's the real question.
Right.
I'm
All
just
right.
kidding. Enjoy it, man.
Go ahead, intro this one because I'm about to break the internet with this next one.
All right. We have the Atlanta Falcons going up against the Carolina Panthers. Falcons will be at home. They are 3.5-point favorites. The over-under is set at 39.5. Opened at 44, so dropped 4.5 points since then. Lou, break the internet.
Okay, so I wanted to figure out a way to bet this game because I know Arizona's improved on defense. They got Dupree. They got Onyemata, who's pretty good, and they got Bates. So I like what I'm seeing from the defensive front. I don't think Bijan Robinson is going to be like 150 yards a game right off the bat, but it definitely gives another weapon with Algier. So here's an interesting little factoid for all of you people on the internet. Wiz, when's the last time the number 1 pick in the draft won in week 1 in the rookie season? When do you think it is? We should just play how old were you when it happened is what we should do.
No. Yeah, it's that long ago.
2002 by the older brother of somebody who's currently in the league. That would be David Carr for the Houston Texans in his rookie
wink,
year.
Wink.
That's the last time a number 1 pick, not a first-round pick, the number 1 pick, won week 1. You have to go back to 1990.
I wasn't even born.
I was 12 when this happened. You have to go back to the greatest quarterback in the history of football, Jeff, by God, George, Tecmo legend, Jeff George, 1990, the last time the number 1 pick in the draft did not throw an interception in their first game. 33 years. Now, granted, not every number 1 pick has opened the season as the starter. I get it, but 33 years since it last happened. So I'm waiting for the props, but if you want to get cheeky here, nice little same game parlay, take Atlanta money line. Don't even fuck with the points. Same game parlay, Atlanta money line, Bryce Young to have at least 1 pick. I'll ladder it to 2, probably get plus money. you're going to get probably close to plus 200 odds, at least for the 2-leg same game play. And they're correlated. I mean, Young having a bad game obviously like leads to Atlanta, but I think Atlanta's going to have a really easy time moving the ball. I don't think Carolina's D-line's good. I think Burns is going to sit out this game. I think Atlanta could just have long drives. I don't love Desmond Ridder. I loved him in college. I don't love him as a pro to this point, but he's the more experienced guy. He has a full camp taking reps to first team. So Ridder should be at least the more acclimated guy here. They're also not going to ask him to do much. He's probably going to throw the ball 20 times at most. He's got Pitts in London. I think they're two studs out there. If Atlanta's going run heavy, they're going to get looks. So I think Atlanta wins. I think it's a really weird game. It's probably like 17-10, 17-7 range. And I definitely think that they get at least one pick to keep this 33-year trend going. You are welcome. No one will pull this shit up this week. I guarantee it. Jeff George.
Jeff fucking George.
Tecmo legend.
Yeah, so another game from a side standpoint where I don't really like it all that much. I did like the under, even right here at 39.5. I still like the under here. I don't think either team's quarterback play is strong at all. I mean, obviously Bryce Young is going to try and make a name for himself from game one, and to lose standpoint here with the picks, I do like that a lot because he's going to be throwing as much as he can just to show off in this first game. But one thing I do like is when that prop comes out, the rushing and receiving total for Bijan Robinson, as long as it isn't something like outrageous, I'm taking it. Like if they give me like a 85.5, an 80.5, even a 90, I'd probably take the rushing and receiving over. I just think that he's gonna emerge as the lead back out of this backfield and also make some noise receiving wise. So I do like that. I do like Kyle Pitts receiving yards as well because I don't like the cornerbacks from the Panthers and safeties for a freaking midget, for lack of better words. So yeah, those are the only two props I like on this game. But I'm probably going to be adding that interception prop too, just because Lou mentioned it. I do like it.
I should mention this is going to be at the George Dome too, so that's even better. He christened the George Dome when he came back with the Raiders, threw for like 109 yards. They won 10-7. He fucking does the victory lap like an asshole. It's the greatest. It's hysterical. He's so bad, but he's the greatest.
Lou, if you look at this first half total, I mean, do you really think that they can get I think they can get 3 touchdowns in the first half total, over 19.5 between both of them? You're on mute.
I'm a rookie. I think you'd have to rely on a short field because I think every drive Atlanta has is going to be like a 7-minute drive, just eating up time. Like, I got to see it with Carolina, to be honest. It's so low. I know 19.5 is like disgustingly low. It is.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I don't know, man. I just hope he gets picked in the first drive, and I'm like, I don't care about this game anymore. Like,
it would be quick.
Yeah. Hayden Hurst could be sneaky. All right. So you start off with this one. I'll just intro it. Since he's minus 2.5, this line hasn't budged too much. I know it says it opened at 2.5. It did get to 3 in some spots. It's back to 2.5. The totals dipped a point. First half spread 1.5, 23.5. I have some feelings in this one, so I'm curious to see what you have to say here if you're attacking the line or props.
Yeah, so I'm probably going to be attacking the line here. Deshaun Watson has not showed us anything at all yet, ever since his return to the NFL. And I get it. It was a short season. He hasn't played in 2.5 years. He didn't go through a full training camp. But I will be happy to take the other side, especially when it's the Cincinnati Bengals. At a 2.5-point spread, it's going to be very hard to talk me off of taking the Bengals here on the spread, on the money line, both, to be honest, just because Deshaun Watson, is a formidable talent in the NFL and has shown that he can play. But show me now. Like, show me what you do when you come back from the 2.5 years off. I just can't talk myself into the Browns side, and I think this is a stud spot for the Bengals, especially with Joe Burrow being mentioned as in that he's playing this Sunday. So I'm gonna take the Bengals -2.5 here. Jamar Chase touchdown. Give me a not so juiced price, and I'll like that too. I do think this is going to be a pretty offensive game, though, for the most part. But yeah, most confident bet on this game is the Cincinnati Bengals -2.5, and then rushing props for Nick Chubb should be money because the Bengals can't stop the run. They haven't really gotten any defensive line improvements either.
Okay, I'm not betting this, but I feel obligated to say T motherfucking Higgins. I'm not betting any T Higgins props. I'm not doing this to myself. If you guys watched the show last year, I'm like, oh, for whatever I do, just do the opposite with T Higgins. Like, if I bet T Higgins, it's like Tyler Boyd's 75-yard bomb to start the game, and Higgins like tears his ACL blocking, like he breaks his foot. So, you and I are going to be completely opposite here. So finally, some dissension in the ranks. I side with Cleveland, but that's not the bet because there's a couple reasons. Cleveland's owned them over the last couple of years. They're 4-1 in the last 5. And if Burrow plays, he's not 100%. He's going to have lack of mobility. Last year, their O-line isn't good. Every game, I was like, what's the opponent sack team total? Like, Burrow just gets hit a lot. So I got to think it's going to be a heavy dose of Mixon in this game. He's going to have to get rid of the ball quick. Props bringing up something I wanted to bring up. All this tape of Watson, everything I've seen, he's looked awful. Like he's regressing. It's not even just like that he came in last year. Like I just think he's regressed. Like being out of football so long just kind of killed him off. So this leads me that I like the under, and I like the under as one of my favorite plays of the week. Under 47.5. It's also going to rain, just not much. It's Cleveland. It's shocking that it would rain in Cleveland.
Yeah, if it doesn't rain, it's like what?
But I gotta think from a Cleveland standpoint, you have to rely on Chubb because Watson does not look good. I don't like his accuracy long distance. So like, who's he throwing to? And Njoku 7 yards from the line of scrimmage. Like, okay, these are things that eat up the clock. On the Cincy side, again, we really don't know with Burrow. I don't see Burrow like just airmailing it like every play. He's going to have to just make sure he does not take any shots, especially below the knee. I see a lot of mixing. I see this game being like kind of a 23-20 game, one or the other. It's like I said, I favor Cleveland, but I can't bet it. Like I favor them just from like the trends. Like the eye test, I can't. But the trends say do it. But I just really like the under here. Like, so I have a bet in on it already. I don't like that I laid the juice. All these lines are from Bet Parks, by the way. Bet Parks, my preferred sports book now. They don't do referral links, so I get nothing for saying any of this. But I do really favor the under. It's one of my favorite plays on the slate. So, I hate Deshaun Watson. Like, I would love to see him just absolutely fail. I love Burrow, man. I like the Bengals. Like, they're fun to watch. I just think I don't know what we're gonna see out of Burrow. Like, and we may not even see him for the whole game, man. You don't want to compromise him week 1. Like, you can't if he's not 100%. So,
well, he's ruled in as of today.
So. Yeah, but okay, but ruled in is not. He's 100%. I mean, ruled in is he's playing.
That is true.
We shall see. I like the under here a lot. Like, it's just one of the things I feel. And again, if it starts raining heavily, like, then I really like it. But anyway, that's what I got on that one. And we can move on to his old team. We can move on to Houston against Baltimore. And is this you or me?
Oh man, this is you. You start off this one. So let me read it out to you. We have the Texans at the Ravens. Baltimore are 10-point favorites. The total is at 43.5.
All right. So is this a teaser piece? Sure. Let's just get that out of the way. I don't see the Ravens losing this game. I really want to bet or just buy half point, bet the 9.5. I really do. There are some trends that favor it too, and they all involve Jim Harbaugh. He's 11-4 against the spread week 1 with Baltimore. He's 14-2 against the spread against rookie quarterbacks at home. So these are two. That's enough data points to say like he has time. He knows how to prepare for these rookies. I don't think Houston's offense is very good, but I think their defense, their secondary, it was 10th last year in terms of passing yardage. Mark Andrews is maybe out. There's like dude, this news is so hard to figure out if he's playing or not. The illness is a mystery. He hasn't practiced. They're like, we think he'll be fine. I don't know. But like, even with Beckham, to not have Mark Andrews is just such a massive, massive loss. And it's not just because of the receptions. It's that a lot of the routes he runs frees the linebackers from the middle of the field and gives Lamar Jackson space to go. Yes, Beckham can stretch the field. Like, I get it. But without Andrews there, like, and look, Jackson's going to get his yards, man. But they're talking that he's going to be throwing the ball a lot more than usual. Hey, man, great. And they're probably going to target Beckham 15 times. I love Beckham's overs. I'm biased. I freely admit it. I love Odell Beckham. I want to see him dominate. I feel like whatever his over is, he can hit it in 3 catches because, I mean, the dude still can burn. I think as a teaser piece, it's fine. My biggest concern is that this is going to be like the huge thing that everybody uses for suicide pools, like big time. And as much as I don't, there's so much to like about Baltimore here, trends wise. Rookie QB on the road. A rookie QB, by the way, who I didn't think was that good. I never liked Stroud. I told you, I wasn't high on any of these dudes coming out of college. I don't think Stroud's going to be that great. Just me personally. So yeah, Baltimore should smash. I'd feel so much better if Andrews is playing. 10 points is a lot in the NFL. I worry about the backdoor cover here, but I'm going to pick Baltimore minus 9.5. Even the team totals I don't really like. Even the 5.5 I don't really like for the first half. It's just tricky. So I'm going to wait and see. I want to watch this one a little bit. Maybe the line will come in a little bit. I need some news on Andrews before I really act here.
Yeah, see, this game, as you mentioned, the Mark Andrews news is still a big question mark. But I am waiting on the news. And if he does not play, we have a darling from last year who's going to step up. And I think I'm not going to say he's equally as good as Mark Andrews because that's going to be, I'm going to get roasted for that, but he can perform at a similar rate. And it's Isaiah Likely. Isaiah Likely, every time he was on the field replacing Andrews, was producing similar numbers. And Andrews didn't have the greatest year last year. But when Likely was stepping up, he was getting 50, 60, 70 yards, and he was catching touchdowns left and right. So depending on the number, I'll be looking at the Likely touchdown. And then obviously Odell overs, they're going to try and use this guy left and right. And when you're going up against the Houston Texans, who have a non-existent defense, it's going to be hard for me to not take that. And then you look at CJ Stroud. I think he throws a pick in this game, and given the pressure that Baltimore brings, I think it's a pretty. I think that's my favorite prop on the game, to be honest. The interception for Stroud, because
I'm gonna pick the Richardson interception too. We should just parlay all 3 interceptions, like all 3 rookies throw a pick. But we might not get better than like plus 350, but I think seems.
To be honest, this is my favorite out of the bunch. Because CJ Stroud, didn't he throw an interception in preseason already too? I think 2 actually.
Well, he's also from Ohio State, which has produced no good quarterbacks, ever.
Yep.
So ever. Coach, it's not D'Amico Ryans, is it?
It is D'Amico.
Yeah,
it is.
So he's defensive minded, so it's really going to help Stroud.
Yeah, very, very much. But yeah, I like Baltimore as a teaser piece, big time. And then we're going to talk about I think the next one might be the one where I have my second teaser piece in it. But yeah, that's all I have on this game.
I believe Indy Jacksonville.
Baltimore smash.
Yep, Indy Jacksonville is the next game. Jacksonville -5. People are clearly betting it. The total has gone up a little bit, which is actually a little surprise to me. Jacksonville first half 2.5, 2.5 for even money in Indy, and the first half total is over 22.5. And this one is you.
Yep. I will be happy laying the 2.5 in the first half spread with Jacksonville here. Huge piece coming back this year in Calvin Ridley. Huge. And when I say like they had a big success with Christian Kirk last year, this is just going to free up the field for everyone now that Ridley is in, because he's wide receiver 1. Let's put that straight. Ridley is wide receiver 1 for Jacksonville. And then it's Christian Kirk. So I think Ridley, any props you can get on the receiving side, take the over because I'm going to be all over him myself. I think the corner play for the Colts is just horrible, and this is just a season where it's like a prove it for the rookie quarterback. I'm not too fond of them not signing what's his name, Jonathan Taylor. And yeah, I just think that the Colts are still a mess, even though they're getting a quarterback. Give me the Jacksonville Jaguars. They're also going to be a teaser piece for me.
So I have the exact same bet. I like the first half. And the reason I'm not doing the full game is not just because people are steaming the line. There's a couple of these spots this week we're going to talk about where it's a divisional game where the home underdog and historically the home dog cashes at a pretty high rate. It's like 65%, 64%, something like that. So I'm hesitant for the backdoor cover. However, that being said, we're talking about Anthony Richardson. I'm still shocked he got taken fourth. I've compared this to Sam Darnold, where you're taking a guy that has limited starts in college, really just started playing the position like late in his high school career. He's got a lot of talent. He's a project. He can be molded, but he's not a guy you usually want to take that high in the draft if you have other needs. You take him because you know you're 2-3 years away from competing. So this year is a throwaway year for Indy. I don't think Paris Campbell necessarily was their best receiver, but he's not there anymore. So they have Alex Pierce, I think, is their best guy. Jonathan Taylor's out. So I don't know who's running the ball like 20 times a game. I don't know if Richardson's they're just telling him, like, go out there and have fun, get experience. Their O-line is bad. Like, he's going to be in a lot of trouble. And you have Jacksonville now. They've moved on from Urban Meyer. There's a lot of stability now. The defense has had stability for a couple of years, but now Trevor Lawrence, same coaches, another year in the system. I just think that he can actually have these 7-8 minute drives, which is a great way to play defense. Just keep him off the field. So I'd rather do the 2.5. I just call it a gut feeling with these kind of weird games that like Indy could backdoor cover it. And Lawrence is still throwing a lot of picks in his career. I mean, dude, his last game he played threw 4 picks, or not last game, but the 2 games ago, the San Diego game. I mean, a dude threw 4 picks in a quarter. Like, he's still young and he's still developing. So it's very possible that he can have some like weird late game meltdowns or bad decision making in this game. He's still a kid. So for me, by KO. Round 1 KO. So I like your Ridley props here too. I think Jacksonville comes out of the gate like super hot and then kind of takes their foot off the gas. So I like the 2.5. I like the Ridley side. This is like the most publicly. This and the next game are the 2 biggest bets publicly, and I hate the fact that I have both of these games bet. It makes me always makes me weird. It's not like Colorado, where the world has bet Colorado at this point. Do you know that more money's been bet on Colorado than any one of the 32 NFL
Yeah,
teams this year?
total.
This is the
This
most
is
bet
the
on
total
game
they're talking about.
this is the most bet on game in the history of college football, other than like a Final Four / national championship game.
It
And I'm
went
not
from a
gonna lie,
pick 'em.
I'm debating getting out of we talked in the group chat on Monday. I'm like, guys, Colorado is -1. I bet it. And it kept going up and it kept going up. And now at this point, I'm gonna just kind of wait it out. Dude, if this thing gets to like 6.5, which I think it could, I'm either gonna cash it out or I'm just gonna middle it and I'll bet Nebraska plus 6.5. And like I'll guarantee I get one of them. And maybe I can hit both if I land right in the middle. Colorado's defense stinks. But we're not here for the college show, but like
I think it's Nebraska.
so much money I mean, I don't know, prop. Dude, there is so much fucking money on that team right now. Like, dude, like bet online, like Dave Mason's like, we're fucked. If they win, we're fucked. Like we're out of money. Don't bet UFC. You can't bet UFC on our book anymore. If like we won't have the money to pay you. All bets are void.
That's the hype that freaking Sanders brings. It's insane. I mean, the line opened up at a pick 'em, I believe, and then now it's some books were hanging it today at 3.5. God damn.
I mean, in the old country, before any of you guys were around, when you had to call somebody, you had to know a guy and call them. you'd put this bet in and he'd be like, I'll put the bet in for you, but like, we're never taking your business after that. Like, this would be the last bet they let you do. He'd be like, I'll put it in, but that's it. Is it worth it to you? I'm like, yes. Yes, it is. But all right, we're very aligned there. And this one is mine.
This one is confusing.
Not for me, it's not, but go ahead.
San Francisco 49ers at the Steelers. Niners are -2 favorites. Over under set at 41.5. Shoot.
So the line dipped. I got Pittsburgh at +2.5. I did this yesterday. I think this is just an absolutely great situational spot. Yes, Bosa has re-signed. That is the big news. And Bosa's in pretty good shape. I don't know. I don't think Bosa's playing the full game here, but he's certainly going to play at least half the snaps. But Pittsburgh's defense got way better in the offseason too. So this is a system play that when you have a home dog and a total that's 40 or less, or 41 or less, which we're right on that number, it hits 67% of the time. I really do think this is like a pretty ugly game one way or the other. I like Pitt out right here, though. I just think it's San Francisco. Yeah, they've traveled well to the East Coast at 1 p.m. Used to be like the biggest trend ever. But, we haven't seen, I don't think their offense is going to be like Purdy is like, how is he overrated or underrated? What do you think?
Here's the thing. I doubted him the first week he played. Second, third, fourth. I don't know if I can doubt him again because it could just be no expectations is what helped him in that
Not
situation.
anymore. Not anymore, though.
Exactly, not anymore. That's why it was a struggle for me. I was like, it could have been just because he had so low, like the expectations were non-existent for him, and he just went in there and balled his mind out. But one thing that's concerning me here is the injury. How does someone come back from an injury like that? And this is technically going to be his first full year playing.
Yeah, he didn't even have
I
a
don't
full
know.
camp. He didn't get a full camp.
Exactly. He didn't get a full camp, and it's going to be his first full season starting from week 1.
And he's not the only one on the offense that's hurt. George Kittle trending to be out of this game.
And Debo questionable.
Debo looks like will play, but Kittle's not going to. It looks like Kittle is completely out. That's a big loss for them on the offense. So
are you sure
that Kittle is out or trending to be out?
Let me just read the notes because I have him on my fantasy team. So, from what I saw, he was playing. But let's see, he's questionable.
I would keep an eye on that because I just keep an eye out on it.
Limited participant today due to a groin injury.
Right. Well, he's got a humongous hog, of course. George Kittle.
Must be hard to carry.
When you just stomp hose running into the end zone, like of course you're going to hurt your groin. But this is more of a system play for me than anything else. And the problem I have is that a lot of the public is on this play too, so I'm a little worried about it. And the line has come down a half point from what it was. I know it says it opened at 2, but it was 2.5 on a lot of books. But very big system play. It's a scary play, sure, because it's still Kenny Pickett, and Kenny Pickett is, whatever he is, but definitely got skill position players that have super talent. If Bosa's not playing a full game, and I know the Niners are pretty stacked in the D-line, but I think the dink and dunk offense of the Steelers is designed to beat this kind of pass rush, and it's just going to be a gross. Like I said before, that Washington, Arizona might be like 17-10. This might be like 7-3, 7-6. It's going to be like that kind of like shit game. And then all the Pittsburgh fans I know who are assholes will be like, we're so back. We're in the wake me up for the playoff start. So that's where I'm at. There's no props. There's nothing else. I'm just playing Pitt. And, he says Deontay get 12 catches for 51 yards. Yeah, that sounds about right, dude.
He better go for double that and 3 touchdowns.
He's gonna get 2. He's gonna catch 2 behind the line for like -13. and then he'll proceed to have no yards after the catch the whole game. Pickens is the one that like gets yards after the catch. But anyway, what's your feeling on this one?
Yeah, no props because both teams defensive minded, and I think it's just going to be a grimy game. I do favor the Niners on the money line. I wouldn't take the -2 just because of how low scoring I expect this to be. I'm just going based off of previous success and familiarity with the coaching staff. I'm gonna have to take the Niners here. If Kittle is in, I'm gonna have to play it. Just making sure that he is playing though. That's the thing. I'm gonna have to wait on that news because they're so much better than the Steelers everywhere you can point to, except for the defense. Like the defense may be marginally better, just nothing crazy. But on the offensive side of the ball, you have McCaffrey, you have Debo, you have Ayuk, you have Kittle, and BCB. The man made a nickname for himself, Big Cock Brock. So you're gonna have to you're gonna have to lay it with BCB.
I
But
get it. It's just it's a system play more than it's an eye. I'm going with the system and against the eye test here, but I get it. I get it, dude. That's why I said it's a terrifying play to make.
yeah, I'm still unsure if I'm even gonna touch this. But if I were forced to, it would be the Niners money.
All right. Well, we are moving right along.
BCB.
And I think you start this one first. And I like this one a lot too. I'm pretty sure you like this one too. But
Oh yeah.
Tampa and the Baker Mayfield led Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the post Brady era, going in against everybody's favorite Michigan State quarterback, Kirk Cousins, playing at Minnesota. Minnesota -6, which seems a bit high, opened at -6. This line really hasn't moved at all. And like I'm even looking like it's not like it went to 6.5 to say like it's been pretty stable book to book. The total has dipped 1 point, and we're going to talk about that when it's my turn. That's interesting. But first half, Minnesota 3.5, over 23.5 at plus odds the first half. If you like a high scoring first half, go ahead, Wiz.
This is the last game to close out my teaser. I'll be taking the Vikings, so that will buy him down to +1, and multiple reasons. I mean, you look at this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, led by Baker Mayfield, the walking interception himself. You just really don't know how motivated this team really is going in with a quarterback like Baker Mayfield because we've seen the track record with Baker. It just has continued to go down and down and down. He's been on a steady slope. And when you're going up against the Vikings, yeah, the Vikings defensively might not be the best team in the world, but offensively, they can put you in a lot of pain. When you have guys like now they have Jordan Addison, who will take some of the attention away from Justin Jefferson. I mean, on the contrary to what many people are going to think here, taking Justin Jefferson props, I'm going to be all over the Jordan Addison props in this game. I think they're going to try and do the same thing they did all last season with Justin Jefferson and run a one-on-one against the corner, but have the safety lurk right behind that corner on his side, and it leaves the rest of the field open. And I think Jordan Addison is going to benefit from that. I think T.J. Hawkinson is going to benefit from that. Addison touchdown is something that I'm waiting to see what the number is. If they can give me a nice plus number, I'm going to be taking that for a unit to a unit and a half personally. But yeah, I just think this is going to be Minnesota Vikings through and through, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers might get a touchdown and a field goal.
I will not tolerate your Mayfield slander.
You better.
Well, we disagree here too, but not on the side. I do think Minnesota wins here, but one of my favorite bets of the week. I'm going against the public here. I'm hammered the over here, and there's a lot of reasons why I like it, both narrative and trend. So let's talk about your boy Mayfield for a second. So is he great?
Don't say my boy.
Is he great? No. But what situations has he been? Dude, Cleveland didn't give him anybody around him. Like, yeah, his accuracy was not great. But you know what's nice for Mayfield here? In a game they're going to be trailing, they are going up against the 31st ranked pass defense in the NFL in terms of yardage, in terms of scoring defense. I think they were 29th in scoring defense. Okay, well, these are the best receivers he's ever had. He's got Mike Evans. He's got Godwin. Just those two alone. You know, one of them is going to be able to do something in this game. Minnesota's defense has historically been bad. How bad, you ask? I'm glad you asked, Wiz. Let's talk about Minnesota's trends. Last year, 7-2. That includes the playoff game against the Giants. 7-2 at home to the over. First in the NFL. The last 3 years, Kirk Cousins has been there for all of them. 37-13 to the over the last 3 years. Easily the best in the NFL. And you're giving me 45.5 here. I love it. Addison's a big new weapon. Do people think no Dalvin Cook's going to matter? They were phasing him out and last year anyway. Madsen's fine. Like, they didn't lose a beat with Madsen. They don't run the ball a lot anyway. They run like 15 times a game. They don't give a shit. And then you got Hawkinson, who you didn't even talk about.
Yeah, I did.
You mentioned Hawkinson?
Absolutely.
I didn't think he did. All right. Well, I think he's gonna go ham.
Hell yeah, I did. He's gonna have a game.
Now, unfortunately, we don't have Irv Smith here to snake all his touchdowns like he did every goddamn game last year. I'm like, Hawk, easy. Hawk 2 touchdowns. Hawk, ladder him. No Irv Smith anymore. Irv can die. Dude, I hate Irv Smith, man. I played him in fantasy and gets like nothing. It's like, oh, good block. Do I get points for blocking? No. Fuck. I lost again. But a lot of trends point to the over here. I'm kind of surprised this thing's going the other way, and I love it. Like, I love that it's going the other way. I favor Minnesota. Dude, if Tampa Bay scores 10, 14 points here, this over is going to smash. I think Minnesota could put up. I mean, Minnesota could conceivably cover this over like pretty much on their own. So I love the over. It's one of my favorite. Johnny Munt. If Johnny Munt steals a touchdown for me this week, I'm not betting Hawkinson props. I'm just the hell with it. Just one of these teams I can't, I have my no bet list. Right now, the no bet list is Leeds. That's it. Right now, that's all I have on the no bet list is Leeds and soccer.
I think you need to add Manchester United to that list too.
I never bet them, except for the one game. And then I'm like, I don't know why I bet this. But in general, I don't bet them. But Leeds is the no bet list, no matter how enticing it is. The no bet list for me. And so I'm just right now there, and T. Higgins is now almost like the no bet list. But I know I'm like, I can't resist. By like week 3, I'm gonna be like,
he's our favorite player.
By week 3, I'm gonna be like, dude, have I not bet T. Higgins yet? No, I gotta do it. And my asshole friend Pat, when we're at the bar, like for the game, is gonna be like, yeah. Come on, dude. Let's load up. The 150. What's 150 yards? Plus 400. Come on. Let's do it. Motherfucking Higgins.
If the NFL totaled up the show in terms of the amount of names mentioned when it comes to players, T. Higgins probably leads at, I want to say, 330,000, and then everyone else is in the hundreds. T. motherfucking Higgins.
He is the man. He's
He's
the man I can't figure out. But yeah, I really do like the over here a lot. That's why I yelled it. I can't do it again. I'm coming off having like a cold last week. So you'd hear it in my voice. I'm like, yelling and screaming like a maniac. But I think we only have one more game at 1. Is that it? Yep. Tennessee and the Saints. This line moved to, it says it opened at 4. But this is interesting because on my book this morning, it was New Orleans 3. And then when I started making the slides, it bumped back up to 3.5. So there is money on the side here coming in. The over's 41. That seems about right. New Orleans, really small favorite first half and a very horse shit first half total, to be honest. Do you, I respect your Bills. Oh, well, they're playing the Jets, Gordo. I wouldn't worry about that. Don't worry, dude. Wiz, what do you got for this one? This is a tricky game. I only have a prop, so I hope you have like a lean on its side here.
So talking to a couple of people that I would consider as NFL sharps, they really like the Titans side. And I just struggle to get there with the Titans. Yeah, they got Hopkins and whatnot, but I just can't seem to ever be comfortable with this Titans team. Sure, Derrick Henry is going to carry the ball the same way. He's going to get his 100 yards and probably a touchdown, but the Saints are a hard-nosed team, especially with interior defense, that have stopped Derrick Henry before. And we've seen what happens when the Titans can't get that offensive scheme going with Derrick Henry. They just fall apart because, sure, Ryan Tannehill is a serviceable quarterback. It's like when we talk about MMA and we're like, oh, this guy has serviceable striking. It's like, yeah, he can strike, but it's nothing like crazy. Downfield, sure, he could throw, but I don't think DeAndre Hopkins is going to do too much in this game being covered by Lattimore, who was shown last season to be able to lock up the top and the elite of the elite receivers time and time again. So then from a side standpoint, I really can't lean anywhere. It's just a very awkward spot here at 3.5. I'm not gonna steal what you want to bet because once you mentioned it to me, it made a whole lot of sense. So I'm gonna let you break that down. So yeah, other than that, no props for me except for the one that you're gonna bring up. So Lou, take this one away.
Derek Carr's passing total playable to 9 million fucking yards.
There
I
you go.
don't care what it is. I'm not betting a side here. I really do think this is a close game. If anything, I would lean Tennessee. I think I feel 3-point game feels about right either way. I don't know if this is the year that Henry starts regressing. I know that when it happens, it's going to happen quick. I also think that Racy McMath should count for at least 7 points in the line for
Never,
Tennessee. The legendary Racy McMath should
never.
definitely count for something here. But Tennessee, I talked about Minnesota's defense being bad. Tennessee has the 32nd ranked pass defense, especially for yardage. Then you look at the New Orleans side. No Kamara, because he's a bad, bad boy. We got Derek Carr. We got Derek Carr making his debut. Got Olave, season number 2. Michael Thomas is back. My fantasy god, Rashid Shaheed, coming back. And Juwan Johnson's not a terrible tight end. But I think Olave and Thomas can go absolutely ham. No, he was an LSU guy. Wasn't he? It was LSU. He was like the 5th receiver on LSU when he got like into the NFL. I don't know how that happens.
He's
I
the
don't know
GOAT.
how it happens, dude.
Solely for his name.
I mean, that's why I like him. I have all his rookie cards. So I just think that Carr is probably going to throw especially without Kamara, he's probably going to throw the ball at least 40 times in this game. I don't have a number yet. If I had to guess, because I don't have anything, I'm just literally firing it. 269.5 is probably the highest it would be. But for a total like this, I'd be shocked if it was that high. Probably going to be 249.5. It doesn't matter to me. To me, it's playable to 300. I think he throws 40 times. I think he hits at least 3 bombs in this game. And still, he throws like a 60-yard pass that results in a field goal. I feel like that's going to be the Saints' day. That's why I don't want to touch total. I don't touch a side. But I think Carr just absolutely. Oh, and because it's week 1 and I get to say it, who does Derek Carr look like? That's right, everybody. Famed. I should have put it on the fucking slide, man. I should have put it on the slide. I'll remember for next time. He looks like his twin brother of famed serial killer, Joran Vandersloot. Look him up. Looks just like Carr.
Real question.
Yes.
The real question is how many times does he reapply his eyeliner?
As much as Gene Simmons applies his makeup when he plays bass for Kiss. Every time he gets just, we have a minute, in the huddle, he's got his compact and shit.
Fair enough.
But I just think he throws a shitload in this game I've always been higher on Derek Carr than most. Dude, he's not the reason the Raiders were losing. They're losing games 38-35. The hell do you want them to do? So the only thing I worry about in this game, if I have one concern, is that I think, we talk about Tennessee's front four is pretty good. I don't know how much I love New Orleans' offensive line. I also think Dennis Allen is kind of a shitty coach. But that almost makes me like it more because it means, all right, well, Carr's used to playing with a bad offensive line. Not run blocking. Jacobs had no problem getting through holes. But from pass blocking, Carr got hit a lot. So this is nothing to him to be behind a bad O-line. And he had no problem just firing bombs, in Vegas. So I love the Carr passover. That's my favorite bet. It's probably my favorite prop of the week. It's the first one I saw. I'm like, whatever this number is. If it's under 300, I love it. But we'll see tomorrow. But what do you think? With a total like this, you can't really set it at an insane number.
Nope.
What's Malik Willis's over? 0.5? I know he's not playing. 0.5. They're out on DK? Okay. Well, prop, since you're there, you want to tell me what Carr's over is?
Oh, wait, you probably just came out right now.
Yeah, but he's telling me they're there without telling me what the fucking number is. I got people asking me what's Montgomery's longest rush. I look it up for you guys. Come on, prop. You rat bastard. I'm looking it up.
Let me see.
No, I got it up right now. We'll see if it's here. Here it is. That's touchdowns.
Passing props. 245.5 for Carr.
Yes. So all the money you have. You know how we say this is not financial advice? This is
This
financial.
one is financial advice.
This is financial advice. All the money onto. He might hit that by the second quarter. He might hit it left-handed just to show he can do it. This is one of my favorite props of the. This is as Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force would have said. This is the Stone Cold lock of the century of the week.
He's talking. Just kidding. He's tailing.
All right, we have covered the 1 o'clock slate. We are moving on.
Here we go.
And this is me first, so go ahead.
Green Bay Packers at the Bears. Bears are 1-point favorites. Opened up the same. And then the total's 42.5. First half spread is Bears -1.5. And the total is 20.5.
Yeah,
I really hope we're on the same side here when it comes to this specific bet.
I'm going to take 30 seconds. I don't have a bet here. I think Green Bay's the side. DJ Moore being the big signing does not. Oh, no, DJ Moore. Like, they're going to, like, just crown him. Dude, he's all right. Like, they're like, oh, he just solved all our problems. Now he has a deep. Stop it with DJ Moore. He's all right. Just fucking stop it. Fields is whatever. They're still poor. Look, Green Bay has three things better. They have a better defense. They have a way better coach. And I think they have definitely the better receivers, DJ Moore. So I think Green Bay is the side. The only thing I worry about here, and this is why I haven't bet it yet, is like, I think all these years, Aaron Rodgers made the Bears their bitch. You wonder, like, are the Bears finally like, oh, he's gone? So I haven't bet it yet. And the numbers coming in, the money looks like it's coming in on Green Bay a little bit here. So, like, I don't know, man. I don't know if I'm going to get to it because there's a couple of plays in this window that I like just way better. But I'm assuming you're on the Green Bay side here.
Nope.
No?
I'm not going to say my favorite bet on the whole slate, but one of my favorite bets on this whole slate is the over 20.5 in this first half.
I thought you were going to say over DJ Moore receiving yards, and I was going to crack up. Like, I just went on this rant about him. You're like, I love it.
No, because I think Mooney can contribute to that too. Over 20.5, that's 3 touchdowns, and I think that comes pretty quick. I think there's probably going to be 2 touchdowns in the first quarter. We all know that Justin Fields plays quick, and the one thing Justin Fields is really good at is scrambling. When he scrambles, he'll get the 30 yards. But I think this year they've been hinting that he's going to try and throw a little bit more. And with DJ Moore opening up the field just a little bit more for Darnell Mooney, I think it's going to create some problems. And the Green Bay Packers secondary is not my highest on the list here for this season so far. So I'm going to have to take the 20.5. I do think Jordan Love can get a touchdown himself because I quite frankly don't think he's a shit quarterback. I think he's serviceable himself, and I think he is a little bit more than serviceable, actually.
He's a first-round pick, dude.
Yeah,
like,
over
he's a legit first-round pick. He's great in college.
No, and he can throw. I mean, he showed it when he stepped in for a couple of those games. He can throw, and he can manage the offense well. So I do really like the over 20.5, and I think that's probably top 3 favorite bets this week.
All right. I might tail that. I like that. I always like first half overs. Come on, dude.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be awesome when it's like 10-10 on a missed field goal. That's all right. That won't happen. Positive thoughts. Okay. I'm really excited to open this game up to you because I don't give a shit about it, but I will have one comment.
I have nothing on this game. I'm going to just put it out there before you even introduce it.
I'm not even going to introduce it. I would tell you one thing. Talking to John Kelly today, the America's hero, Contender Series legend, John Kelly, the first thing he said to me about football was Seattle is going to beat the shit out of the Rams. Like, that was like one of the first things he said. I was like, okay, so I'm not betting it, but since we're not giving you a pick, John Kelly picks Seattle.
He's responsible for it.
This is not financial advice. I don't want John like coming after me, but John, for him to be, I didn't say, what do you think about this game? And all the games of the slate, he was like, Seattle. So I was like, okay, dude. Yeah, Metcalf. I fucking love Metcalf. You know what the problem, Jared? You know what the problem with Metcalf is? They always set these numbers crap. They're always crappy numbers for Metcalf, man.
He doesn't get them. He doesn't get this
No, I mean, like,
touchdown.
because it's always like the reception total isn't huge. So he's like 4.5, like 5.5. Then the yardage is like 88. And the TD will be like -1. Like, you never getting like prime grade. I would, who wouldn't trust John Kelly with their lives? Like, you're saying, come on, we would all trust him. Let's move on. But John is like, yeah, that's like his, like the whole
Goated.
ash kicking play of the the Lee's Hoagie House, Lee's Hoagie Shack, a smack of the week. Sorry,
I do agree. I do think the Seahawks win, but do I want to touch that? No.
No. Let me send this one to you. The Las Vegas Raiders at Denver. Apparently, if your name is Sean Payton, you can swing a line like 7 points. We have Denver as not even a 3-point favorite at home, a 4-point favorite, a 44-point total. You see the halftime splits there. Of note, it does look like Jerry Jeudy probably not going to play this weekend. So, any thoughts here for you?
So we have Sean Payton coming in, new head coach for the Broncos, with Russell Wilson, Bronco Country. Let's ride. And then we have on the other end Garoppolo making his Raider debut. Raiders have had a lot of interesting conversations over the offseason when it comes to contracts with Jacobs, and then you hear the rumors about Devontae Adams probably wanting out, and then Chandler Jones, I think this was yesterday, he was locked out of the facility. He couldn't train, so him and his girlfriend had to go to a local public gym, and he freaking outed the whole Raiders on his Instagram story for 5 minutes and then deleted all the posts.
It was awesome.
Yeah, that was
it was hilarious, but it wasn't cool for him. But it was hilarious.
Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't mention anything about it, to be honest. But this game, I'm really gonna have to just say that the Broncos beat the shit out of the Raiders. Home opener, new coach, the much better defense by miles, and I'm talking miles. And the Raiders' defense has just gotten worse, as if it could have even gotten worse from last season. So I just think the Broncos win here handedly. I think they win, uncover a touchdown. Am I going to bet it? Probably not, just for the sole reason that we have not seen the Broncos run under Sean Payton. That's one thing. And then also just the bad memories from last year is shying me off of it. But I'll give them a couple weeks, and then we'll see if it's Bronco Country, let's ride or not. Props-wise, since Jerry Jeudy's out, I do like Cortland Sutton in this game.
Patrick's out too, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Cortland Sutton is probably going to be on my over for the receiving yards list for my props. And that's pretty much it, to be honest. I mean, Josh Jacobs could just do Josh Jacobs things, but it is the Broncos, and their defense hasn't let them down.
Yeah, I'm never betting this because I don't think Denver has earned. I mean, everything you said makes sense, but Denver has not earned being -4 at home against anybody, especially a team they have not beat since 2019. So I just don't want anything to do with it. But again, it's the 4 that's screwing up my head. If this was -3, just your normal standard home field -3, I really wouldn't think anything of it. It's the 4. Why 4? Why is it -4? And you're saying their defense is bad. It's all right, but Denver has to exploit it. And then can Oakland do whatever? The Raiders, the Oakland Vegas Raiders.
Oakland. Yeah. Cancel this man.
Can they do anything against this defense? Probably not. And Jimmy G's pretty fragile. So what happens if he goes down, man? So I don't know. I don't know who the Raiders backup is. Do you?
No, not off the top of my head. Is it still that same guy? Not O'Connell. Who am I thinking of?
I'll tell you right now. You were thinking of Aiden O'Connell. It's the guy from Purdue. It's Brian Hoyer. Good old reliable Brian Hoyer is the backup.
Great.
Go 18 for 22 for 90 yards. And no picks. But no. All right, let's move on from this game. I don't really. I need Denver to. You know what? This is one of those games as a capper. You sit back, you see what happened. You build for next. Like these are notes for next week, dude. You know, it's the best you can do. All right, go ahead. Set me up for this one because this is like another one of my heaviest fucking plays.
We got the Dolphins visiting my hometown, the Chargers. Chargers are 3-point favorites here. The total is set at 50.5. Opened up at 49. First half spread is 1.5 favoring the Chargers, and then the first half total is over 21.5.
So
The
I'm with the public, and that troubles me here. But I just hammered this over, hammered it. You have two very stable offenses. You have two very middle of the pack secondaries and defenses, like 15th and 17th, respectively. I was shocked to see that Tua was the number 3 rated QBR guy last year, and Allen and Mahomes. I was shocked that he was 3rd. Herbert's 11th. Okay, does that mean Tua is a better QB than Herbert? No, but that's now why is he 3rd? Because he can hit deep balls. Okay, you can hit deep balls on the Chargers. You can hit them all day. It's going to be beautiful weather. I think he will hit some deep balls. I think the Chargers will saying this. I see Jake in chat saying he likes the Dolphins. I like the Dolphins to cover here. I like them for 2 reasons. I think the Chargers are like, without a doubt, the worst coach team in the NFL. I think Staley is like the worst coach. I don't know why he's still there.
I'm surprised they didn't get rid of him.
After that playoff game, like, what are you doing? He should not have been allowed on the plane after that. That was absolutely disgraceful what happened in that game for them. But also, and I think this, I wish I had the number. I think I meant to write this down. The last 2 years, the Chargers, it's like out of the 34 games or 33 games, it's something like 12 of them were 3 points or less either way. So like always take you're always going to take the opponent +3. There he is. Dude, were your ears ringing, John? We just talked about Seattle. We both declined the pick, and I just said, well, John says Seattle, guys. There's the pick.
We also mentioned it wasn't financial advice.
We said it was definitely financial advice. we said 34 unit max bet. So I don't like being on the same side as the public here with the total. I just don't see how it gets there, especially like, again, the Chargers secondary is like against the deep ball. I think it was 22nd in the league, stopping passes 20 yards or more. Like they just get burned deep. Well, you get 2 guys that can burn you deep here. So whatever you think of Tua, the one thing you can always say about Tua is he throws a beautiful long ball. He can buy time. I don't think the Chargers pass rush is that great this year. I think Miami's O-line is decent. Seattle or homeless sounds right to me. So I like the over. I'm not doing the prop market. And the reason is with Waddle and with Hill, they've adjusted these numbers in general now. We're like, you just need monster games. You don't really get great payouts. Their touchdown props suck. Waddle always has the better odds. Typically, I'm going to look this up right now. I mean, Hill's always like completely overpriced. Justice Hill. One. Tyreek Hill's he's +115. That's actually not bad. But Waddle's +140. So like, I'm always going to take Waddle there. I'm always going to take the guy that's got more maneuverability in the slot too. So give me Jalen Waddle +140 if I have to play one. But this is like Cincinnati. Whichever one I pick, the other one's going to go off. But over 50.5, great spot for me in this week.
The more you told me about it, the more I kind of talked myself into that over too, just looking at these teams' records against each other and then also how they performed last season compared to teams that pass the ball primarily, which both the Dolphins and the Chargers are pass dominant teams. I definitely placed a wager on this over. Now, I also mentioned to Lou that totals are usually not my thing week 1 and week 2, just because I'm not really a fan of not going based off of evidence of the current season and how these teams are playing and how they're being coached, because things change from season to season. So I'm not going to say it's my most confident thing in the world, but I do see a world where this ends over this total. And both teams play with a high power offense. They like to throw more than they like to rush. especially in the terms when it comes to the Dolphins, because Raheem Mostert is a guy that gets injured every 5 seconds, and Jeff Wilson is still on the IR right now, so they're going to rely primarily on this passing offense with Waddle and Tyreek Hill. So I'm not worried about on the Dolphins side. I know the Chargers could drain some clock by using Eckler as a rusher, but it still doesn't take away from the fact that they have Quentin Johnston, who was a stud in college last year, added to the offense, along with the same old Mike Williams and Keenan Allen. So I'm taking the over 50.5. And if I were to lean towards a side, I would actually lean towards the Chargers, just given the running back woes with Miami, and then also that Tua gets a concussion every 5 freaking plays. So I hope that doesn't happen to him this year. I'm wishing him the best, but the man's fragile, and I think a couple more concussions, and this guy is probably not going to be on a football field anymore. So yeah, I think the Chargers are the side here, but yeah, give me the total as an official.
All right, all right. Well, we got 3 games left. This is the last. Sorry, my boss was writing me. The last of the 4:00 games, and oh boy, Philly and the Patriots. You're starting this one off, and then I don't know. I hate the things I have to say about this, but open at 3.5. Philly now at -4. The total is 45. Has come down from 46.5. Philly, pretty reasonable, -2.5. It's a nice number. First half, -110 there. The total over 22.5. That weird middle number. Go ahead, Wiz. Early in the week in our group chat, I said this is one of my smash spots. I'm not going to lie to you. I have changed my thoughts, but I want to hear what you have to say here.
It's just such a weird spot. Again, we see this weird 4 number. And then in my head, I'm just thinking about it. How much have the Patriots improved over this offseason by adding Juju Smith-Schuster and Ezekiel Elliott? How much is that going to improve your offense when you have Mac Jones as your quarterback? Mac Jones is a guy that really suffered last year when it comes to injuries, and also just when it comes to accuracy as a whole. He was holding the ball for too long. He was throwing a ton of interceptions, and he was getting injured. So you got to think and wonder about his mentality going into this season. And I just don't see a way where the Phillies don't run away with this one early on. The Patriots could make this closer later in the game because, as we've seen, Philly likes to relax in the second half. But I just think the Phillies cover a touchdown here, and they're on their merry way.
The Eagles.
Sorry, the Eagles. I was rambling for a second in my head. But yeah, I just think the Eagles run away with this one early and just hold the lead. What do you think, Lou?
Okay, so is Clint betting the Patriots? Of course he is. Clint, goddamn, he hates it. Yeah, Matt Patricia, this whole thing is just so weird. But so I really wanted to bet the Eagles just glancing at the number. And you're asking about like who the Patriots played. First of all, everything I'm reading is that Schuster's knee is like one hit from just exploding.
Yep.
So I don't think he's going to last season. And they lost McCourty in the secondary. He was a veteran leader as well as being a Pro Bowler. Okay, so all that being said, I have reservations about making any bet on this game. And I'm telling you right now, I will have 0 bets on this game because I know I'm going to be at the bar surrounded by Eagles fans. So I just don't want to if I bet it, I'm going to be pissed that I lost money. If I bet the Patriots, I'm going to be pissed that everybody's happy. So I can't deal with it either way. There are 2 things keeping me off this game that you didn't mention that are very, very important. One is a trend and one is worse. Since 2000, the loser of the Super Bowl, 4-19 against the spread week 1. So, look, different situations. I get it. It's a 23-game, data set. But you have Bill Belichick, who's had months to prep for this. Hurts has never played against them. At the very least, could scheme and make it interesting early. But that's not the most important reason I can't bet this, Wiz. Do you know what Sunday is in Foxborough?
No.
It's Tom Brady Appreciation Day. I'm never betting the Eagles in this spot. Are you kidding? I'm never betting them on Tom Brady Appreciation Day. I talked to my girlfriend. I'm like, do you know what Sunday is? She goes, is it 9/11? I said, it's worse. It's Tom Brady Appreciation Day. Oh, it is a beat. I said, it's way worse. It's Tom Brady Appreciation Day. There's like, so that's why I'm like, dude, look, in a vacuum, in a video game, say dude. Now you're like, do I bet this now? Dude, the Eagles should win by 14, like in a vacuum. Or they do what they did every game last year. They steamroll the first half and they kind of take their foot off the gas. Because that's what they did a lot last year. Last year, we were just riding like the first half team total with them. They'd hit. And this, by the way, it's not listed here. It's 13.5 if you were interested in the first half team total. It's pretty reasonable, especially for a team that's very aggressive, going for it on 4th and short, like from the 35, like eschewing field goal. So I can't bet it. That's why I'll pick the Eagles for the sake of the show. But I just can't do it, dude. But now, now it's time as we move on to the night game. You know what it's time for, Wiz? You know what it's time for, chat? Then, all right.
We have the Cowboys laying 4 points.
That's why the presentation took so long, by the way.
Yeah, it took him like a long time with his typewriter to convert it into analog and then put it on the screen. But nonetheless, Dallas laying 4 points in New York. Over under is set to 46.5. First half spread, Dallas -1.5. First half total set to over 23.5. Lou, take us away.
No, Jake, the Cowboys are not free. I mean, look, man, I'm biased. I would say if you
everything we say with a grain of salt here.
I would say if you like the Cowboys, bet them now. Dallas, of course, traditionally is a very public team. The number even moved to 4 on my book. Like, I kind of think Dallas, I don't know how much, there's going to be a point of resistance here soon at the line. I kind of think even 4.5 might be as far as this goes. But if you like Dallas, I'd do it sooner than later. This other game, divisional opponent, underdog. I kind of like the spot for the Giants. Again, I'm completely biased here, guys. But Dallas also starts out every season pretty hot. Dak struggles with turnovers. I don't know if the Giants are going to take advantage. I do like the Giants' defensive line this year a lot. I like Thibodeau getting another year. Like, they're going to smash some people. The other question I have, if you're a Dallas fan, is like, now Pollard is officially the guy. Now Pollard is going to get 20, 25 touches, 30 touches a game. Can Pollard handle that? Is he a 30? Like, I don't know. I don't know if he can handle that workload. So I certainly think he's explosive as a guy getting 15 to 20 catches or touches a game. Of note, the Giants were 10-2 against the number as underdogs last year. So they play well as underdogs. They don't play well as favorites. In all fairness, the Giants weren't favorites in a lot of games last year. So I'm going to play the 3.5, or I'm just going to not. Like, I can watch this as a fan. I don't really need to get involved. I just want to talk about one prop. I know Wiz is on a time frame, guys, by the way, so we're going to go as fast as we can here. Like, he's got another show to do, another sport. He's multi-sporting today. He's Dion. He's Coach Prime. I was going to look at Waller props because I was like, all right, well, they're going to showcase Waller and just that. But how do I go away from my guy from last year who's going to be the 4th target on the field, but he's going to get a lot of the target share? He's going to get a lot of the snaps. How do I go away from Isaiah Hodgins, man? He's got a chemistry with Danny Jones. He's tearing up Minnesota in both of those games last year. Yeah, the Eagles game, he didn't do great. Nobody did in this team. But with Sterling Shepard back for the one game before he tears his ACL for the year, with Slayton there to at least be a burner down the field and open up some space, and with Waller clogging all those linebackers out, I think Hodgins is going to have the worst guy in the secondary on him. I think he's going to have a field day. I have no idea what his total is. I'm going to look it up right now. But I'll say it when you're done. What is your pick for this one? The Hodgins over anything less than 50, I like.
Yeah, my heart does not allow me to bet this game, especially with it being the first game of the season. But if I'm thinking of it from just the gambling perspective, I think you have to take the plus on the spread with the Giants here. I really think that the Giants have upgraded their defense marginally.
Not listed, by the way.
Not listed. Okay. They've upgraded their defense big time this season. I mean, bringing back Jihad Ward and then recently stealing Isaiah Simmons from the from the Cardinals. It's That's just going to cause nightmares, especially for with the Cowboys. Their offensive line has gone a little bit weaker this offseason, losing a couple of key players. I think Simmons is going to blitz over and over again, and Jihad Ward's going to be his best friend with it. Kayvon Thibodeau, we know he can handle the run, and he can cause a little bit of ruckus when it comes to the quarterback situation too. He's sacked the quarterback plenty of times last year. And on the offensive side of the ball, I think the Giants can move the ball really well against this Cowboys team, who also like to play fast pace. I think going into this season, the expectations for the Giants are a little bit higher, just given the signings we've got on the defense, and also getting Darren Waller on the offensive side of the ball is going to be a huge help when it comes to just distributing the ball. Because Danny Jones last season, yeah, he had Bellinger as his main tight end, and it was working really well. He was getting the ball to Bellinger, and Bellinger was carrying it for 15, 20 yards after the catch at certain points. And now you have someone as good as Waller and as fast as Waller and physical. I think it's just going to open up the lanes for the receivers that much more. So, yeah, you got to take the 4 points with the Giants here.
It's like Aliva says, never bet a white.
You have to. You have to take Waller here, especially
Right.
Waller.
I mean, I just like buffing his balls. All right, I'll set you up for the last one, then we will say our goodbyes. Monday night game, Buffalo, New York. That's all I have to say here. Jets plus 2.5 at home. Another one of these situational spots, divisional, small home underdog. A little bit of money came in on the Jets. The total has gone down to 46, 47.5. Probably set a little too high to begin with. First half spread's tight. First half total right at that number, 23.5. Do you have anything on this?
On this one, no, because the Jets are like the nightmare matchup for the Bills for some odd reason. And I like the Jets when they were plus 11, plus 12, But at this number, going up against the Bills with a new quarterback, a couple of new pieces in the system, I think it's going to take them a game or two just to adjust. So I'm staying off of this one completely when it comes to like a side or a total. But I think this is going to be a legacy game for Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs, yeah, sure, he's going to be covered by Sauce, but I just think he's going to be able to get open here as much as he wants. It takes the defense a couple of games to adjust, usually when it comes to any team in the beginning of the season. And I think Diggs is obviously the key player when it comes to the offensive side on the Bills. Also, James Cook rushing and receiving combined over is something that I'm interested in here. I want to wait and see what the number is, but I think he's going to be integrated a little bit more into the system this year with Singletary leaving, going to the Texans. So all eyes are on James Cook here. It's his backfield. It's his time to take over it. And with that being said, I think he catches a lot. On the receiving side, he's a stud. And then in the rushing side, he's just like one of those little running backs that can get the 5-6 yards every single time. So I'm going to have to look at his props and go from there. But from a side standpoint, I'm going to have to pass.
Okay, I need to look at this one a little more. So I'm just going to use my 30 seconds here to say I've never been more sick of a team before week one than I am of the Jets. I can't stand Aaron Rodgers. I can't stand the Jets. I can't stand Jets fans. I know plenty of them. Everything is, man, we're going to be so good this year. And by week 2, they're looking at next year's draft. It's every year with these goddamn people. They are the worst. They're parasites. They're a bunch of mosquitoes. I can't stand them. I hate Rodgers. I hate that he just took all his buddies from Green Bay and Dalvin Cook. And I think he got like Jim Brown is on the team now. And Fran Tarkenton is there. And, whatever, Morton Anderson's kicking now. And just he basically playing a video game, just plucking dudes from like eras, putting them on this team. I think the Bills, who are used to being in prime time, as bad as they have been against the Jets, to your credit, I think the Bills lay down a fucking marker right here and say, no, like just end this hype now. And that's going to be even after the Bills get like 13 penalties for 210 yards. They're still going to win this game because if this isn't the most rigged game the Jets are the side. Let me make this clear. The Jets are the side. from a betting perspective. The Jets are 100% the side because this game is going to be rigged as shit. But I think the Bills, I don't think the Bills win by 3. If the Bills win this game, they win by like 21. Like, I don't think the points play here. If you like the Jets, take them outright. If you like the Bills, they're going to just, it's going to be a smash spot.
Steamroll.
So, all right. I know Wiz has God's work to do. So I will just do my own quick sign off.
Yeah, go for it.
You find me on Twitter at Lou Betya. Doing the prop show tomorrow with Pepe Sylvia, 5 p.m. Eastern time. Midnight is the happy hour with Monk. And then Friday will be my first best bet show of my 3 best NFL, college, and UFC plays. Fun will be had in the chat at the old happy hour time slot, 5:30. That's all I got.
Yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning into the first episode for the season. We'll be back next week, pretty much the same time, if not 30 minutes earlier. You can find me at WizDoes on Twitter and on YouTube, obviously. In just a couple minutes, I'm going to be going live with the Couch Warrior, breaking down next week's slate for Dana White Contender Series. So if you're interested in that early breakdown, you get some work in early, and you get to prep a little bit before everyone else. So you're ready for these lines once they first come out. But yeah, until next week, we are signing off. We'll see y'all then, and good luck. Peace.